We spend a lot of time on this channel talking about the nuts and bolts of travel, the logistics, the planning, the best way to get from point A to point B without breaking the bank or losing your mind. And that's all well and good, but every now and then it's worth slowing down to appreciate the journey itself. And what better way to do that than by revisiting the golden age of travel, back when trains were king. Back then, train travel wasn't just about getting somewhere, it was an experience. These steel behemoths were rolling palaces, outfitted with plush velvet seats, private sleeping cars and dining cars that served up five-star meals. People dressed to the nines just to board these things. It was a different time, and just as the trains were built for luxury, the stations themselves were architectural marvels, designed to evoke a sense of grandeur and awe. We're talking soaring ceilings, marble floors, intricate mosaics, the works. These were cathedrals of transportation meant to inspire and impress. Sadly, the golden age of train travel eventually gave way to the jet age. But here's the thing. While the romance of air travel faded faster than a cheap pair of jeans, those grand old stations, many of them, they're still around. They stand as testaments to a bygone era, reminders of a time when travel was about more than just reaching your destination. So today we're taking a virtual tour of 6 of the most stunning Amtrak stations in America. We're going to step back in time and appreciate the craftsmanship, the history, and the sheer beauty of these architectural gems. Our first stop takes us to the heart of the Big Apple, New York City, where we find Moynihan Train Hall. Now you might be thinking, Mike, this place looks brand spanking new for a historical landmark. And you wouldn't be wrong. You see, Moynihan is a bit of a hybrid. It's actually housed in the historic James A. Farley Post Office building, right across the street from the mayhem of Penn Station. Talk about a change of pace, right? This Beaux-Arts beauty dates back to 1912 and boasts those iconic Corinthian columns that scream, "Look at me, I'm important." And trust me, this building has stories to tell. Inside, the old post office has been transformed into a modern marvel of transportation. We're talking a 92-foot-high skylight that floods the place with natural light, sleek design elements that would make a minimalist drool, and a metropolitan lounge that'll make you forget you're even in a train station. But here's the best part. They managed to incorporate the building's original steel trusses into the new design. So, you're walking through this modern marvel, but you're surrounded by these whispers of history, these reminders of the building's past life. It's a beautiful thing, this blending of old and new, and it's a testament to the idea that progress doesn't have to come at the expense of our heritage. Next up, we're hopping on board and heading west to the Windy City, Chicago, home to Union Station, a place that embodies the phrase "go big or go home." Seriously, this place is massive, and it took them a full decade to build it, thanks in part to a little thing called World War I. But trust me, the wait was worth it. This Beaux-Arts masterpiece finally opened its doors in 1925 and it's been wowing travelers ever since. Just picture this, a limestone exterior that could make a Roman emperor jealous, a marble interior that practically glows, and enough decorative molding to make your head spin. But the real showstopper is the coffered ceiling in the Great Hall. This thing is 115 feet high and made of translucent glass, bathing the entire space in natural light. They don't make them like this anymore, folks. Now here's a little history lesson for you. During World War I, construction on Union Station was halted, and to prevent the glass ceiling from becoming a giant target for enemy bombers, they blacked it out. Can you imagine that? Thankfully, the war ended, construction resumed, and the ceiling was returned to its former glory. Today, Union Station is still a bustling transportation hub, but it's also a destination in its own right. They've done a great job of updating the amenities, adding restaurants, shops, and all the modern conveniences without sacrificing an ounce of its historical charm. From the Windy City, we're making our way to Worcester, Massachusetts, a town with a history as rich as a clam chowder. Now, Worcester's Union Station has seen its fair share of ups and downs. The original station met an untimely end in a fire back in 1911. But did that stop the good people of Worcester? Not a chance. They rolled up their sleeves, got to work, and within a year, they had a brand new Union Station, bigger and better than ever before. This time they went with a blend of Beaux-Arts and Spanish Revival architecture because why choose one when you can have both, right? The goal was to impress. And boy, did they succeed. This place was considered one of the most beautiful buildings in all of Massachusetts, and the crown jewels were the Twin Towers encased in gleaming white marble. Talk about making a statement. Now, fast forward a few decades, and those same towers that made the station so iconic became a bit of a liability. Seems the vibrations from the trains were causing some structural issues, so down they came, which is a shame, but hey, safety first. But here's the thing about Worcester, they don't give up easily. In the late 1990s, they launched a massive renovation project to restore Union Station to its former glory. And you know what? They even rebuilt those twin towers using modern materials that could withstand the shake, rattle, and roll of those trains. Today, Union Station is once again the pride of Worcester, a testament to the town's resilience and its commitment to preserving its architectural heritage. Chapter 4. Alright folks, we're trading in the East Coast chill for some California sunshine as we head to Los Angeles Union Station. Now, Los Angeles is a city known for its glamour, its glitz, and its tendency to do everything on a grand scale. So it should come as no surprise that their Union Station is a stunner. This place took nearly 30 years of planning and a cool $11 million to build back in the 1930s. That's roughly $240 million in today's money. Talk about an investment. But hey, when you're trying to create a train station that embodies the spirit of California, you don't skimp on the details. And they didn't. We're talking a seamless blend of Art Deco, Mission Revival, and Spanish colonial architecture. It's like they took all the best parts of California's architectural heritage and mashed them together into one gorgeous package. You've got your red clay tile roofs, your white stucco walls, your exposed wooden beams, and enough decorative chandeliers to light up a small city. And then there's the Mission-style Grand Bell Tower, visible from miles around, a beacon of architectural brilliance. Now, like any good landmark, Union Station has had its share of makeovers over the years. But, thankfully, when they renovated the station for Amtrak service back in the 1980s, they understood the importance of preserving its history. So they kept the original design intact, breathing new life into this California icon. Today, Union Station is more than just a train station. It's a symbol of Los Angeles's past, present, and future, a place where history and progress collide. Chapter 5. Hold on to your hats, folks, because we're about to enter a building so grand, so awe-inspiring, that it'll make you want to burst into a chorus of America the Beautiful. That's right, we're talking about Kansas City Union Station, a place that embodies the heart and soul of the American Midwest. Now, at the turn of the 20th century, Kansas City was booming. It was a vital link in the transcontinental railway system, a place where goods and people flowed like the mighty Missouri River, and they needed a train station that could handle the traffic, so they went big, really big. Union Station opened its doors in 1914, and it was the second largest train station in the entire country at the time. This Beaux-Arts masterpiece was designed to impress, with its imposing limestone facade, its towering columns, and its arched windows that seemed to stretch on forever. But the real showstopper is the Grand Hall. This place is massive, folks. 36,000 square feet of architectural splendor, and hanging from the intricately coffered ceilings are 3 chandeliers, each one weighing in at a whopping 3,500 pounds. That's heavier than a Ford F-150, just hanging out, looking elegant. During World War II, Union Station was a hive of activity, with hundreds of thousands of soldiers and civilians passing through its doors every year. Can you imagine the stories these walls could tell? Today, Union Station is no longer the bustling transportation hub it once was, but it's still a vital part of the Kansas City community. They've transformed this grand old dame into a multi-use complex, home to a science museum, a planetarium, and of course, Amtrak. Chapter 6. Our final destination takes us to Cincinnati, Ohio, a city known for its rolling hills, its chili-obsessed residents, and a train station that's nothing short of an Art Deco masterpiece. Folks, I'm talking about Cincinnati Union Terminal, a building so iconic, so visually stunning that it's been featured in movies, TV shows, and even a Simpsons episode. Now, back in the 1930s, Cincinnati's train system was a mess. Tracks were scattered all over the place, which made for a logistical nightmare. So, they decided to build one massive station to rule them all, and boy did they deliver. Union Terminal opened its doors in 1933 and it was an instant sensation. This place was like nothing anyone had ever seen before. The centerpiece of the whole shebang is the Half Dome. This thing is 180 feet wide, one of the largest in the Western Hemisphere. It's like they took a giant slice of the sky and trapped it inside the building. And the details, oh man, the details. We're talking intricate mosaics, gleaming marble floors, and bas-relief sculptures, depicting scenes of transportation throughout history. Sadly, the golden age of train travel didn't last forever. By the 1970s, passenger rail service had declined, and Union Terminal was in danger of being demolished. Can you imagine the outcry if that had happened? Thankfully, cooler heads prevailed, and the city decided to preserve this architectural gem. Today, Union Terminal is a thriving multi-use complex home to museums, a theater, and yes, Amtrak still runs trains out of here. It's a testament to the power of adaptive reuse, and a shining example of how we can honor our past while embracing the future. Outro. Well, there you have it, folks. 6 stunning Amtrak stations scattered across this great land. 6 architectural marvels that have stood the test of time, bearing witness to the ebb and flow of history, the comings and goings of countless souls. They're more than just buildings. They're monuments to a bygone era when train travel was the epitome of glamour and adventure. And you know, these days it seems like everything is about speed and efficiency. We're constantly rushing from one thing to the next, glued to our phones, oblivious to the world around us. But when you step inside one of these grand old stations, it's like time slows down. The hustle and bustle fades away, and you're free to appreciate the craftsmanship, the attention to detail, the sheer artistry that went into creating these spaces. So next time you're planning a trip, why not consider taking the train? Skip the airport security lines, ditch the cramped airplane seats, and treat yourself to a journey that's as much about the experience as it is about the destination. You might just be surprised at what you discover along the way. And hey, if you happen to find yourself in one of these beautiful stations, take a moment to soak it all in. Look up, look around, and imagine a time when travel was about more than just getting from point A to point B. A time when the journey itself was the destination.